She's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran off her medication. She's at work to safe haven. Attacking 12, take a check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 point start, take your shots.
Officer still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? Temporary with thanks. Anyone else close, wait to see what's up, let me know. 10-5, you said.
33, declare supervisor and
Is that possible, Sheridan and Wilson? First stop off. 10-4. And where's 47 Fulton. I'm sorry, wait, I can't hear you. Okay, try that one more time. 847 Fulton. 47 Fulton.
There we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for hopping in. Thank you, Lori and Steven, for joining us as well. I can't wait to get into tonight. It's going to be a special show for y'all. And thank you again for hopping in. We're going to get into a little bit of hot dog steak in the beginning of the show. And then I figure what we could do is check out some of those members only videos and stuff too this evening, just little snippets of it. And just have a casual conversation with our guests here, Lori and Steven. Thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you also for all the times that we've met, in the background, discussing and exploring and talking different things. I appreciate your guys' company and your comfort when it
Hey,
comes
thank
to
you thank you, brother, for what you do.
no, we thank you because it takes you all to be able to help us all do what we do. We definitely couldn't do it without people like you. So thank you both for everything that you're doing. Um, and you guys do, as we've met multiple times and had conversations, whether in person or on the phone, um, uh, they do a lot of homework, y'all. And they bring a lot of interesting thoughts, theories, opinions, and maybe some of it might be stuff you might have never even thought about before. So it's always a great conversation, um, especially with people like you. Again, thank you both for your comfort and joining this evening.
Oh yeah, brother.
So one thing I wanted to kind of get into tonight, and thank you all for hopping in. Appreciate it, and thank you for all your ticket numbers too. Um, when I don't know if this is like a law or anything, but somebody had reached out to me and brought up a good point when it comes to South Carolina laws for protesters. Um, now, you'll hear people talk about how CJ made a video about Jay and all this other stuff. Yes, I did make a video in the beginning, and it was just you need to stop your antics. Anybody can go look. Before that, we weren't making videos on Jay. The first video was Jay, you need to stop your antics because um, the ladies in the community, and it's more than a couple, other people say just a few. There's a lot of the community that reaches out. Even the protesters, when they're out there, see different people from different parts, like even you guys. You know what I mean? Like the whole. It's not just Myrtle Beach. It's literally a good chunk of the state is really reaching out. Not only just the community in Myrtle Beach, a lot of community, a lot of neighbors, um, but also protesters and people throughout South Carolina, not just in Myrtle Beach, because Mica's justice for Mica has really captivated the whole state, especially because of the laws that exist for South Carolina when it comes to domestic violence. And so when Micah's name is resonating with the community because of what took place, the fact that certain things didn't allow her to be able to be as safe as she needed to be. And so when it comes to the state specifically, they know the laws because they have to live with them too. And so uh, when it comes to the protesting, that's what it was about because the ladies had already reached out to me for weeks. They reached out to Veronica, even to Anne. multiple people were just reaching out to me saying, these people really need you and want you back, CJ. You know, yes, I was working on a case in Tennessee. Everybody knows who I'm working with. I don't promote it, but everybody knows. I'm doing a lot of things for that case as well, even though we're not there. I'm still doing a lot of work in the background, just like I do all these cases. And so when I seen that the barriers were put up, I know that there's other teams out there already searching for Sebastian. I know that there's other resources that are even beyond what we have that are also out there for Sebastian. So to me, I needed to come back here, not only because people needed me and they needed to be safe and have their protection documented, but also to do more investigating and at the same time, uh, the barriers coming up, things were starting to get to a certain level when it comes to a certain side's narrative that it was becoming a hindrance to the protest, and it was important. They needed me there, and when I seen the barriers get put up, it was like, you know what, I cannot let these ladies in this community sit there and suffer any longer. I need to come out there and things need to change. And that's why I put out the video. It wasn't attacking anybody. And it's not even a personal agenda. It has nothing to do with any of that these people are trying to put out there. It has everything to do with protecting justice for Micah, protecting parties, and to make sure that justice for Micah doesn't have any poop stains on it, okay? And what happens is, and you can go to my video, Stop Your Antics. What happens is when you have barricades put up based on your actions, and you're basically infuriating the community because they can't walk their dogs, ride their bicycles, uh, and they can't just go walk down. You see people going through there. And there's people even going on the street, which is against the law. And so the community is being affected by a certain agenda, certain actions. And in the video, when I'm talking about the barriers, I'm talking about the message that it sends. You're sending to the community that the protesters are a problem. And when the barricades get put up, when you claim you're not part of the protest, well, then you really have to kind of check your ego, and you really need to be about the right thing because listen, there's plenty of people as you're driving to Solid Rock every morning. There's plenty of people at Market Commons Square that have their little sign, their little things that hold their signs up, and they have their Bibles in their hand, and they're preaching the word of God. You know what I'm saying? Why does this particular individual who says in his own words is not part of the protest, but claims to be treated just like Micah was treated? Why is this gentleman using and walking around the Justice for Micah protest when he's not even talking about domestic violence? He's not talking about justice for Micah. He's not talking about the circumstances in her passing. He's not bringing up any awareness that has anything else to do with Micah other than to promote his own words through God's word. There's people that stand down at Market Square that do that. They're not infringing on justice for Micah protest. And when you're not part of it, according to your own words, well, then there's no reason for you to be there. It's just that simple. So if you're going to create the antics that make the justice for Micah look bad, and you are so strong about making sure that people know that you're not part of the protest, then there's no reason for you to be there. You can go down to Market Commons Square and go down there with your Bible and talk about the word. When your actions make the protesters and justice for Micah look bad to the community because you've restricted the community based off of your own actions, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's why I made my initial video, Plastic Jesus, Stop Your Antics. Anybody can watch it. It has nothing to do with anything personal because I'm going to tell you right now. If it was another individual that did that to cause the barriers to put up, I would be talking to that individual. Do you see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with Plastic Jesus. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. It has everything to do with what took place based off of someone's actions. And they can say that it was JP's fault. And you're going to hear that in these clips we're going to show you tonight because this is their own words. They even call the protesters dumb bitches. They even call the protesters dumb bitches. When they're screaming justice for Micah in their audio, Crabby Courtney gets really crabby. You know what I'm saying? When they're talking about CJ, they're making up lies. And shout out Veronica. She did a side by side version to show you the truth and to show you their version of what they've been promoting to all these communities out there. You're going to see in their own words how they talk not only to people for justice for Micah, but other people that are not about their agenda. Not about their agenda. Now, there's just a few. There's just a few. But you're going to see, like I said, I'm just calling out the hot dog steaks. It's because that is justice for Micah. That is justice for victims. That is justice, period. Because there's no reason for anybody. This is why they're making up all these lies and these manipulations, is because they've realized that we're back and we're not playing. Now, I didn't fight with this person. I didn't even say, "Hey, come over here." It had nothing to do with that. I was having a conversation about Starlink with Jonette. And then I hear somebody lying and gaslighting this lady, and I'm looking over there and I'm like, "Man, if that was my grandma, I'd be saying the same thing. If that was my mom, I'd be saying the same thing. If that was my sister, I'd be saying the same thing." Answer the lady's question. Now you can see our words and you can see their words. And it's just going to be a short part tonight, but I want you guys to really hear how they talk to people that are there for justice for Micah. So, as far as I'm concerned, Guru, Courtney, Plastic J, and the two blonde girls that are walking around taking photos of people's license plates and putting their personal information out on the web. Protesters, they're putting protesters' personal information out on the internet. The two blondes that were standing at the corner with Plastic Jesus. Those five people are not justice for Micah. Those five people can take their show to another block. They can take their show to Market Common Square. They can take their show to the boardwalk. They can take their show elsewhere. Because with South Carolina laws, when it comes to protesters, can counter demonstrators also protest? Yes, but they cannot physically disrupt the event they're protesting. Police can keep antagonistic groups separated. I would guess that if Plastic Jesus states that he is not a protester, in the Justice for Micah group, then he probably would be considered a counter protester. JP's narrative, right? And could possibly need to be separated from Micah's group of protesters. He also stated that he doesn't need to, quote, follow the protest rules, and the protest rules have always been law enforcement's rules. So where he comes up with protesters' rules, the protester rules are law enforcement's rules for that day. He's disrespecting law enforcement's rules as well. Do you see what I'm saying? This does not make justice for Micah or their group look good, because the group that's supporting them, iPhone Glitch and Krabby Courtney and the two blondes taking license plates, they're a distraction. They're for the same agenda, especially if they're promoting plastic Jesus. That is not justice for Micah. That's why these people are spinning these narratives about what I'm saying, what I'm speaking of, what I'm showing you for hot dogs, steaks, and all this stuff. I care about you all. It's like I said, if I seen a wolf out there amongst sheep and you didn't see it, I'm going to point it out to you because I don't want you to get ate by that wolf. I care about you. So if he also stated that he does not need to, quote, follow the protest rules, quote, justice for Micah protest rules, quote, law enforcement rules, I would think that he would be considered either an antagonist or a counter protester, and then it would be the police officer's job to either remove him or separate him from the legitimate protesters that do follow the rules. And the proper authorities are already being contacted and have been contacted about this situation as of last night. Now, I'm going to show you guys some videos. You're going to hear some words. You're probably going to get upset, okay? Because the way that they talk about people that are not about their agenda is disgusting. It's disgusting. You hear somebody compare themselves to Micah's struggle and what happened to Micah. It's disgusting. The narratives that are being pushed are so outrageous and so horrible. And yet you hear the things they say about me, and it really makes you sit back, and when you hear these words, it's like they're saying these words about themselves with everything that they're accusing me of. It's crazy. You see what we're doing here. We actually do work here. We do investigating in the background 90% of the time. We're just there at the protests to make sure that the ladies are safe and that everything is documented for protection. That's what the media is for. We don't we're not, quote, part of the protest. We don't disregard the law enforcement rules, and we are there to respect the protest and the movement for Mica. I had a special message for everybody, and I'm going to play that starting off because I want everybody to really truly hear where I'm coming from when it comes to the barriers, the rules, and what you should really be there for if you truly are there for justice for Micah. I do want to share uh, these screen shares real quick. Now, Lori and Steven, thank you again both for hopping up, and I'm sorry about the last minute stuff. This stuff just needed to be talked about real quick. You guys have been to the protests before. You guys have been a part of the community for a little while as you've kind of watched the protests as well. Um, When it comes to the rules, they don't ask too much. They constantly change, unfortunately. They constantly change, and so that's why Melissa, she does a great job of communicating with the officers once they get there, before everybody else, discussing what's allowed that day, what's not allowed that day, so that way nobody crosses the boundaries. Um, you know, what did you guys think? Because you guys were there when it's against the law for people to walk up and down the street. You guys were already there before Plastic Jesus showed up, and you even knew where we couldn't stand when it comes to the barriers and such. And when you guys were there and you see him walk up and constantly cross where you're not supposed to go, which then makes the officers go talk to him, then he's walking up and down the road, screaming and hollering. When you're not even allowed to do that, there's an ordinance for that too. How does that make you feel? When you're standing there seeing that stuff?
Well, honestly, man, it's kind of stupid because he's hurting the protest. Um, I overheard him talking, and I was standing back there speaking with the gentleman used to be Chris Skinner's neighbor, and Jay come up talking to him, and he was talking about how he knew it was upsetting the protesters what he was doing,
Oh,
but
really?
he was, doing it to show that they couldn't control us. And don't get me wrong, I understand where he was coming from, but that protest isn't about our rights and control being put over us. It's justice for Mica protests.
Right.
So, I mean, the control part, I mean, I just thought it was stupid, and I'm sorry, it was Jay and JP that caused those barriers to get put up. Yeah, JP crossed that damn picket line, but Jay didn't have to meet him in the middle of the damn street and get all in his personal space either.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And you can see even when JP was pulling out of the church, Plastic Jesus walks in the middle of the exit for the church, so JP basically has to drive on the parking lot and swerve out of the way to make sure that he doesn't run over Plastic Jesus.
Hmm.
Like, there's video of that too. Not only video of JP having to swerve out of the way so he doesn't hit Plastic Jesus because Plastic Jesus is running in the middle of the exit. What would you do in that situation? Would you rather go for a curb instead of running into somebody that's walking towards you, that's trying to get hit? You,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, just what you brought up, he's running out there. There's video of this too. Running out there, running up to JP, getting in his face. Not only before the whole bump back and forth took place, because you could see Jay bumped right up into him, and then he got that's a common reaction. I'm sorry if somebody comes up to me and bumps me in the shoulder, even with their chest or any part of their body, it doesn't matter. You bump me with your shoulder, there's gonna be a reaction to it.
Exactly, man. I
You know
mean,
what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry.
That's why the cop didn't get
JP
out of his
Miller,
car.
yeah, JP Miller is the last person in the damn world I want to defend, but honestly, I would have done the same thing he did. I would have shoved him too because, I mean, he jumped all up in his personal space, bumping into him, and you can see it on the video. So, I mean,
Well, and the
yeah.
cop was sitting right there in the vehicle. Like,
Hmm.
seriously, the cop was sitting right there in the vehicle. If there wasn't a bump back and forth, the cop wouldn't have continued to sit in his vehicle and let them walk away to the point where Jay was then go, because there's video of this where Jay's trying to get into JP's face as they're leaving the cop car. If this was an actual assault, that cop would have got out of his vehicle. If he didn't get out of his vehicle when they were coming up to his vehicle, he definitely would have get out of his squad car after he would have seen Plastic Jesus approach JP again after they left. That's how you know when there's a two bump back and forth. Okay, each party touched each other, just like JP shoved him back. Each party touched each other, so I'm not going to get out of my vehicle because it didn't cause any kind of, and I'm not trying to write a report. See, this is what people don't understand. That cop sat in that vehicle. If there really was an assault, if JP really did shove plastic Jesus when Jesus didn't bump up into him, then that cop would have got out of that vehicle as soon as he saw plastic Jesus running up at JP again as they were leaving the vehicle. Because then, especially if it's being documented, oh yeah, he's getting out of that vehicle. That's how you know what truly took place during that altercation. You can see it. If somebody's willing to walk in the middle of an exit and possibly get hit by somebody's vehicle, then you know that they're going to be willing to walk up and push up. It's just that simple. Because you're going past barriers that you shouldn't even be going. You shouldn't even be going. And when you're around the protesters, and you're even holding up signs like a protester, even though you're not part of it. You're holding up signs from the protesters doing what you're doing. You're making justice for Mica look bad. You're making the protests look bad. And then when you have the live streams that you do hosted by people that are supporters of you and are in it just as much as you are, and you hear the words that they're talking to about the protesters, I don't understand like what they're even doing there. I really don't. They can do what they're doing over somewhere else. You know, I don't think, when it comes to journalism, and you see, okay, they're recording the protests, but the words that are being spoke during their shows is not journalism. It's pop culture clickbait. It's Sally Jesse Raphael talking about two people that don't like each other. It's just it's disgusting. And so when it comes to this justice for Micah, it needs to be about justice for Micah. The antics need to stop. That's all I've been saying. And the antics weren't stopping. They're actually getting worse. And we're going to go through those. They just need to stop. So I'm glad somebody's reaching out and already reached out to law enforcement regarding this topic when it comes to who should be allowed around that protest and who shouldn't, and for what reasons and what not. Because again, these actions, not one of these beautiful protesters has ever caused any issues. It's just been these individuals, especially Plastic Jesus. This is not the time or place to fight that kind of fight. This is a justice for Micah fight. And as far as I'm concerned, whatever you're bringing is distracting and taking away from justice for Micah. Now he's out there doing lives. It's all right. I'm going to show you guys. First, I'm going to play this message for you. This was from last night, just a little 6-minute clip, and it's talking about how when it comes to support and respect for the protests and the cause and the people that are there, uh, I people just need to listen to this message because this is what it's truly about when it comes to this whole protest. Now, when it comes to the rules, so this is why some have justice for Micah and some have justice for agenda. And here's the difference. Because we are anywhere, any community we go to, we are media and we also do investigations. So as of right now, we are on the media side. We're not doing any investigating while we're out here. Well, we might in the background. But here, our main focus is to document the truth, protection for the protesters, and to be there for them. That is what the media side does. Now, after the show's over, tomorrow during the morning, the daytime, the afternoon, the evening, investigations. Now, when it comes to the media, like we're doing right here, we're documenting the truth and also documenting for protection. We, because we are here on behalf, and the reason that we stand on these sidewalks, and the reason that we are here is because justice for Mica. Now, media is there to document and show the truth. Because we are media does not mean, just like any other agenda, it does not mean you can't respect and follow not only the rules of law enforcement, because that's where these rules come from. There are no list of protester rules. There's a list of rules from law enforcement. And so it's important for us to make sure that, just like me, I'm Evil CJ Media, I have to respect the rules of law enforcement, and I also need to respect the wishes of the people that are here and the cause that they're trying to promote. Yes, we are our own people. Yes, not everyone is somebody else's leader. But at the same time, when we are here, we have to make sure that we not only respect law enforcement, but we also respect the people that are here and their cause. That's why you never see Evil CJ Media cross barriers. You never see us go on permission or on property without permission. You never see us instigate or try and bend or break any rules. And there's the difference. Now, we've already heard that there's other people that are not part of the protest, their own words. Just because they're not part of the protest doesn't mean that they disregard law enforcement's wishes and they don't respect the people and the cause why we're standing out here on these sidewalks in the first place. There's a huge difference when it comes to being about the right thing and not being about your own thing. Because when you're about your own thing, people get hurt, people get misused, people get disrespected. It's a huge difference. I just wanted to share that special message when it comes to this evening, because I think a lot of people really need to sit back and look inside their own soul and really see what is justice for Mica, what is justice for domestic violence victims, what is justice, and what's agenda. Huge difference. All right, this right here, I'm going to switch to this now. Now, this is Plastic Jesus. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying that he is not there for the protest, he is there for himself. Okay?
Melissa, remember when you when Allison called me and told me she wasn't going to be the protester anymore, and I was going to be the lead, but I said, no, I don't want to be the leader of a protest. You know why? Because I'm not protesting. Why do I say that? You know why? Because I'm not bound by the protest rules, Melissa.
It's not protest rules, Plastic Jesus. It's the rules of law enforcement. See? He's putting it off as Melissa's rules to make her look bad, and Melissa is just trying to make sure that all the people that are there to make sure that justice for Mica remains positive. Do you see what I'm saying? And he's making it seem like it's Melissa's rules. These are law enforcement's rules. If you showed up on time, or you actually cared and went to Melissa to find out what was allowed that day and what wasn't allowed, maybe you wouldn't be breaking those rules. Because you do break the rules. He's lucky he doesn't get arrested. And he's been going up and down the last few weeks, breaking rules, not asking. I mean, think about it, people. Not asking what the rules are from law enforcement, crossing barriers, making the police come to him. It's like the dude wants to get arrested for the promotion of the martyrship. I'm going to look even more like a victim when Plastic Jesus in the garb gets handcuffs behind his back. Can you imagine how much he would use that to spin a photo of him getting handcuffs on him? The man is trying to get arrested. They're not arresting him because the police are trying to not make a big deal out of it. And this gentleman is stretching it beyond boundaries that shouldn't even be stretched because they're not arresting him and they're not falling into the trap of the agenda that he's trying to promote. And he's the one that's using Mica's name to try and accomplish that. And he's got people like iPhone Glitch and Krabby Courtney that are there supporting his agenda, even promoting his agenda. This is not justice for Mica. Listen, though, he's not a protester. He's not bound by law enforcement's rules.
Bound by the protest rules, Melissa. Sorry, you're the leader of the protesters, but you're not my leader. I am my own protest.
I am my own protest. These are his words. I am my own protest. There's no reason for you to be there, Plastic Jesus. Because according to South Carolina protest laws, you are a counter-protester. Counter-protesters are not allowed to be with the protest of justice for Mica, according to the law. According to the law, when you are your own protest, you're not allowed to be anywhere near the Justice for Mica protest. All right, now I'm going to go to another video. This is him comparing himself to Mica. And this will infuriate you. This one's gross.
It's manipulation. It's spin. It's dangerous because now it's putting my family and my wife and my children at risk.
So his own GoFundMe is putting his wife and his children at risk. Why would you put your children on your GoFundMe and make it public? I mean, you're the one that uploaded the photos. You're the one that chose public. That was you.
I want to keep it about justice for Mica. What's happening to me happened to her.
Isn't that gross? That right there pisses me the F off. I'm going to be honest. With what Mica went through, the things that she had happen to her. It's gross. All right, I'm going to play this for you guys. This is clips from, yeah, you guys can see the, listen, that's why I'm playing the closed captioning. That's why I'm playing the closed captioning. Now, this is from last night. I'm going to show you guys this, and we're going to go to, I want you guys to hear how iPhone Glitch and Krabby Courtney are talking about me and the protesters, and some of the dumb bitches is what they call the protesters. They even admit in their own live that all the protesters have CJ's back. They even admit in their own live. But you'll never hear that stuff on ours. I'm just going to say that right now. You'll never hear that stuff on ours. Let me see here. Can I play this?
It's manipulated.
All right, so I'm going to play this. This is actually, I have to do a different screen share. Give me one moment to play this one. So this is from last night.
It's manipulation. It's spin. It's dangerous because now it's putting my family and my wife and my children at risk. I want to keep it about justice for Mica. What's happening to me happened to her.
There's the video. This is what people need to understand. Calling out hot dog steaks is justice. Because there's no reason for any of this to take place off of a victim's name, period, whatsoever. And when I hear somebody say this, it's absolutely sickening. How dare you compare yourself to Mica and what happened to her? Like I said, I don't know what this dude's smoking or snorting, man, but it's something heavy.
At risk. I want to keep it about justice for Mica. What's happening to me happened to her.
It's hard to hear that.
Let me know.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear that. All right, here's how they talk about all of us here.
So in each account, at the top, the three listed besides the account that account is.
Oh, yeah.
You don't list the account that you're already on.
Duh. Sorry. What's going on here? Hold on. Scratching my head right now. Didn't he make a video about... Never mind.
Look, it's hot dog steak.
Is it, they use my own funny sayings against me. They're so creative. They have to use my own stuff. They can't even come up with their own.
Sorry.
I mean, I saw a YouTube video about Jay, so
That's right. Jay, you need to stop your antics. That's the video I was referring to. Anybody can go watch it. see how it's personal. It's not personal. I don't know why he's aligning himself with this guy, Kylie, but I have a feeling it has to do with the particular individual that's having this whole group push this narrative, if you know what I'm saying. Because really, what with the events of this person and these people, what are they doing to make justice for Mica look positive? I'm sorry. Just listen to the negative in their own coverage.
But whatever.
And even in their coverage.
Was it your GoFundMe? Yeah, you did it. You can't answer for your GoFundMe. What are you trying to do? You're the one that's actually doing the answer to. I have a question. No, I have a question though.
You're doing the answer.
No, I'm not.
You're antagonizing me.
Get these barriers up here. That was you.
No, it wasn't me. It was the
That was
city.
you.
Now, say
pay
what you're doing.
Jay did not cross the barrier. Jay did not cross the barrier.
You're doing it about me.
Jay
You're
did cross the barrier.
It's almost like a cult because you won't let anybody say what they want to say. You won't let anybody say what they want to say because they come on your channel and say something.
What he wants you to do.
You don't let anybody defend anybody. No, it's about your agenda. It's about your agenda.
You can hear all the stuff they're saying in the background. You know what I'm saying? They should, if they're not biased, they should report that Jay walked into the middle of the exit, which then caused JP to swerve out of the way and drive on the curb so we didn't run over Jay. I'm sorry, if somebody's walking at my vehicle and if I keep going straight, I'm going to hit him. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move over. You know what I'm saying?
He stopped him.
Yeah.
He stopped him.
Stop dressing up as a cop. Stop instigating the protesters. Stop instigating the community. Stop instigating the police. Because when they give you rules,
but right here's an example. This is an example of people trying to divide people.
And who are you to tell?
So because I'm trying to explain how he's continually breaking the rules and why his rules breaking has caused different things to make justice for Mica look bad, not only to the community, but for the protesters and law enforcement as well. That's me trying to divide people. I'm not trying to divide anybody but the people that are causing problems and create negativity for justice for Mica. Yeah, I'm here to come in here and scoot the fuckers out of here because they've been doing it for too long. And it needs to stop. Because this has to be about justice for Mica. The community has to support justice for Mica in order for justice to Mica to take place. If justice for Mica doesn't have the community support, they can't do justice for Mica. And what these actions are doing is causing the community to not like justice for Mica. These people are ruining this protest and this movement, but they're blaming it on everybody else. Is what they're doing. It's what manipulators, gaslighters do the best. They manipulate a situation to get what they want, their agenda, and they can pin it on other people. Just like SCM. As soon as it's all of a sudden the attention's on her, the hot dog steak's getting called out on SCM, all of a sudden it's other people's fault. You see what I'm saying? Well, I didn't know. This is how these predators attack these victims. And there's a lot of domestic violence victims that watch these. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they're playing off of these people, they know how. Listen, I don't have the soul to do that to people, to play with their minds and their souls. I don't have that in my soul to do that. These people do. And that's why they get away with it, because they manipulate situations just like he is right here. Veronica did the side-by-side to show you the real and what they were promoting at the same time. They're promoting narratives. It's...
Do I tell you what to do?
You went up to him. You don't have to approach him.
Who are
He
you?
asked.
Can you answer this lady's
Who
question?
are you
What
to
is
tell
the
me
reason for
what
the
I should do?
GoFundMe?
Do I tell you what to do?
$21,000.
Do I tell you what to do?
What is the reason for the
Why does
fairy
that have
tale
to do with Justice for Mica? I'm not
life? It
embarrassed
was
about
her
anything.
question that she had, sir.
You're making the question.
She asked you the
Don't
question
call me
before
sir.
you even looked
Don't
at
call me sir.
Jay.
You know my name.
So why don't you ask her, please? Or why don't you answer?
I exactly answered. I told her, I said,
Told
I would
her to
like
go
you to go
read it?
read it.
It's your
Please go
GoFundMe.
read it.
You don't know the reason why you have the GoFundMe?
Exactly.
He doesn't know what walking
No, because
Oh,
that's
you
why
walk
there's
away.
barriers up here.
Who's
Because
coming
he
to me?
doesn't
No,
know
the
what.
barriers are up there because JT crossed the line.
Do you see this hate?
TJ is trying to divide people.
You're coming up to me.
Cross the line. JP crossed the line.
I can do whatever I want.
Stop telling him to walk away, you dumb bitches.
You hear that? Because they've been telling Jay to walk away because nobody wants him there. The two people that are there, and they're making it seem like all these people want Jay there. There's just a couple people. And when those people, like I said, with my even real footage, you hear all the support that we're getting, not only before, after. There was like 3 or 4 different people that I had never met before that had drove just to meet me and say thank you and how much they support me. People from the community. Just that day, it was crazy the support I was getting throughout the whole day. Those people are in the background telling them to just go because they don't want him there. He's creating issues. He's making the Justice for Mica protests look bad. And they're trying to promote it like it's me. They're trying to make it seem like, no, I'm here with the frickin' boot to say, get away, palmetto bugs, because you already done mucking up Justice for Mica too damn long. And then you hear this because people are telling Jay to walk away. All the support in the background. And she calls them all dumb bitches.
You're up there because JT crossed the line.
Do you see this hate?
TJ is trying to divide people.
You're coming up to me.
Cross the line. JP crossed the line.
I can do whatever I want.
Stop telling him to walk away, you dumb bitches.
So if you want to watch the whole thing, it's about, 20 minutes. There's a bunch of clips that, I'm going to play a little bit more, just a skosh, but actually, no. If you want to watch the whole thing, there it is. It's about 20 minutes. You can hear. There's 20 minutes of commentary of the way that they're talking about me, the protesters. Like I said, you guys are... Just keep in mind when you listen to it, you might get upset, okay? Like I got real, not for me, because I don't care what they say about me. What they say about me, it don't make a difference. But when it comes to the protesters and how they were talking and acting towards, because there's plenty of times where the protesters are in their audio, Justice for Mica, and it really makes people upset on the other end when their audio's getting affected because people are screaming justice for Mica. Whenever there's protesters by me, you guys have always, I say, hey, don't worry, scream it louder. Scream it louder. It's sad. This is why they're freaking out. This is why they're running around scrambling. They're saying all these things that I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's like, no, I'm just sitting back listening to you with your own words, basically digging your own grave. I'm just here with the shovel. I'm just here with the shovel because I care about all these people like they're my family. Now, I definitely have to shout out Veronica. She did a great video, you guys. She's already put out a few of them, okay? But this one especially, she did a really great job, not only with the information, but showing the truth. So I want to say shout out to her. Here's her link. And let me get her channel up there too. If you're not subscribed, please go do so. But this video right here, this is what journalism is as well. And I think she did a wonderful job. Here's the link for her video. Now I want you guys to check this out because it's an 8-minute video, but she did a wonderful job with these edits. Amazing job. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play for this. Definitely go sub if you're not.
To try and get that Starlink stuff so I can just basically I can work on the road.
Hey Jay, that'd be awesome. I got a question.
I tried to do some of it.
But that's still in the karaoke. If we go somewhere for a private party or event or whatever, and there's no Wi-Fi, well, with your laptop, so you've got to have Wi-Fi.
See, I'm talking to this lady about Starlink, me and Jonette. She was talking to me. She first asked me, hey, is your phone cutting out? Is your stream cutting out? I'm like, no, everything's fine. She's like, yeah, we got this Wi-Fi box. And she was talking about the karaoke stuff. And I was like, man, I'd really like to have Starlink because it'd be so cool to work on the road, you know, and be able to have internet connection in the sketchy places where I don't get any signal, so it gets dangerous, things like that. You know, I'm like thinking like, man, I'd like to get a Starlink. And then all of a sudden, like I said, if this lady was my grandma, my mom, my sister, my aunt, whoever, if she's asking a question and somebody's trying to gaslight her, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stand up for her. I'm gonna be like, you need to answer the question. You need to answer the question. Why are you trying to gaslight this lady? They want to talk about how he's being treated like Mica, but look at how he's treating females when it comes to this situation. What do narcissistic people do? They gaslight, they deflect. What took place right here? You see the lady's face when he keeps saying, just read it, just read it, just read it. And you can see the short amount of defeat that she had because she just kind of sat there and went like, what am I supposed to, you know what I mean? That's what I'm standing up for. Because she fell down on her knee, I took her hand and I picked her up and I'm like, I'm not going to let him do this to you, ma'am. I'm not going to let him do this to you. Not going to happen.
So that's why we got that.
The reason she put the arrows is because he walked over. I didn't ask him to come over. I didn't stop him. I didn't approach him. Nothing. I didn't even move.
For a private party or event or whatever, and there's no Wi-Fi, well, with your laptop, so you've got to have Wi-Fi because it's not the phone system. So that's why we got that.
It was a long time ago.
Oh, you're still trying to get money?
No.
You're on?
It's still open. It's at $3,565 now. It's still open. It's still open. Yeah, you can click on the link. You've already got $3,565.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd close if I were you because that doesn't look good.
$21,000 for a fairy tale ending. Yeah, fairy tale life.
Oh no, not at all.
Somebody here is asking Jay about the 21,000 GoFundMe.
Fairy tale life.
It was for to help my house.
I need help in my house too, but I don't go.
Just read it.
Go fund me.
No, go read it. Just read it.
See, look what he does right there.
Read it. That's what it's for.
Well, why don't you see the defeat in her face? I sat there and I watched the defeat in her face, and I was like, you're not going to treat a female like that, buddy. You're not going to treat a female like that.
Just read it.
See her?
Read it.
Poor lady.
Well, why don't you just let her know what it says so she doesn't have to go read it? Because it's your GoFundMe.
Yeah, you did it.
You can't answer for your GoFundMe.
What are you trying to do?
Of course, they're playing it off like it was a setup. because that's their only excuse for him. Like, but it wasn't even a setup. Does that change the fact of what he said? Does that change the fact of what he did? If they thought it was a setup, don't you think they would have acted a little better than what they displayed right there? It makes absolutely no sense. I'm sitting there having a conversation with somebody else. She was, hey, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm sitting here talking to her in the corner of my eye. I can see Jay walking up, and I'm like, what the hell? So I look over, and then I turn the camera over to watch him because I'm like, what's he gonna do? Walk up and down the freaking barriers again? Then he's coming over, and I'm still talking to this lady, and then I'm all of a sudden I'm hearing her ask, because like I can hear both conversations, and I hear her ask a question, and then he's gaslighting her. I'm like, no, you're not going to gaslight this lady. No, it was not. Of course they're going to play it off. It's their agenda.
You're the one that's actually doing the antics, sir. I have a question, though. No, I have a question, though.
You're doing the antics.
No, I'm not. Sir, I didn't get these barriers up here. That was you.
No, it wasn't me.
That was you.
No, see, what you're doing is slander.
So why don't
What you're doing
you?
is slander.
No, it's not.
Defamation. Yes, you
No,
are.
it's not,
You're
sir.
not doing what's about
No, it's
Micah,
not.
you're doing it about me.
This is a
Your
justice for
agenda is an
Mica.
agenda. It's almost like a cult.
No,
because you won't let
you have an
anybody say
agenda
what they
because
wanna
you
say.
have an
You won't let
outfit that
anybody
you're
say what
wearing,
they want to
sir.
say because they come on your channel and say
No,
something.
sir.
You block them.
No, sir.
You don't let anybody defend
No, it's about
anybody.
peace, positivity, and progress.
It's about
The community
your
knows that.
agenda.
Do me a
It's
favor,
about
please
your agenda.
quit
You
dressing
came
up
over
in
to
a
me.
costume.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
stop dressing up in a costume. Stop instigating the protesters. Stop instigating the community. Stop instigating the police. Because when they give you rules and you basically disregard their rules and walk up and down here,
And
that's
who are you to tell
instigating,
me
sir.
what I can do and don't.
You're
Do
the
I tell
reason
you what
the
to do?
barricades are up.
Do
You're
I
the
tell
reason
you?
the
No,
barricades are up.
JP is the reason the barricades
You
are up.
went up to him. You don't have to approach
Listen,
him.
Who are you to tell me what I should?
Can you answer this lady's question, though?
You
What
to
is
tell
the
me
reason for the
what I should do.
GoFundMe,
Did I
Jay?
tell you what to do?
$21,000.
Did I tell you what to do?
What is the reason for the
Why
fairy
does
tale
that have
life?
to do with justice for Micah? I'm not embarrassed.
It was
about
her
anything.
question that she had, sir.
You're making the
She
question.
asked you the
Don't
question
call me.
before you even looked
Don't
at
call
me,
sir.
Jay.
You know my name.
So why don't you ask her, please? Or why don't you answer
I
her?
exactly answered. I told her. I said,
Told
I would
her to
like
go
you
read it. It's your
Please go read
GoFundMe.
it.
You don't know the reason why you have the GoFundMe?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He doesn't know what walk away is.
No, because
Oh,
that's
you
why
walk
there's
away?
barriers up here,
Who's
because
coming
he
to me?
doesn't know what to do.
Who's approaching me?
Because
You see
you're
this
always
hate?
causing problems.
You're walking up to
This
me.
is what you love. You get
You're,
off on this.
you're coming up to me. You're coming up to me.
Look, you're walking by.
See,
You
this
just
is.
want you to eat.
I can do whatever I want to do.
I know.
I didn't come to you. You came to me.
Sadly, you can, but you're the reason the barriers
Alec,
are up.
you came to me.
I did.
He came to me.
I didn't come to you.
They came to me.
I didn't come to you.
You did.
I'm standing right here. I was looking off to the side. I was
You did
watching
not
her.
turn over and
She
start
asked
talking
you a
and asking me
question.
questions. You're
No,
lying.
actually, Jay, I was
You
standing
are
here talking
lying.
right here. She was here. She asked you a
You've
question.
been lying.
It's on film, bro.
You
It's on
yes,
film,
it's
bro.
on film,
Right
and
here,
everybody can
two
see it.
versions.
And they
You
have it.
walked up, talked
yeah,
to
right.
her. I'm talking over her.
No.
Then I turned the camera here because you're all.
And you started
Hello.
asking me questions.
Everybody has it recorded, sir.
You started asking me
The video will be uploaded
Yeah.
for everybody
And
to see the
anybody that wants
truth.
to see the truth, exactly.
Yes, the truth.
You're a problem.
There is no
You're
problem,
making
sir.
it about me.
Sir, I
Your
don't
agenda
have
is making it about
barricades
me.
come up because of my
See, that
actions,
is what
sir.
you think.
That is you.
No.
Please
Why don't you blame the person?
stop
you're supposed to
dressing
blame?
up in your costume.
See, that's your
Stop having your own agenda and be about justice for Micah. This isn't
problem.
Plastic Jay's sidewalk to walk up and down
You're
to
not
try and get
embarrassing.
your
You're not
congregation
hurting.
and
I
your
don't care what you
GoFundMe
say.
up, sir.
I don't care what you say. It's not about that. See, that's about your opinion.
No, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here.
got a problem,
You
CJ?
can't even answer
CJ,
this
you got a
lady's
problem.
question that
You got
she's
a problem.
has a legitimate question for
problem.
you, and
No.
you can't even answer
I
it.
did answer
You looked at me and started talking to me, sir.
CJ, you're a liar.
Looked at me and started talking to me, sir.
CJ, you're a liar.
And this lady wants to record me as well.
She knows you.
We already know who it is. We've seen the
Who is it?
GoFundMe, sir.
Who is it?
We've seen the
Okay, then
GoFundMe.
why are you saying
You
this?
know your
I
GoFundMe.
could care less.
You know
I'm
your
proud of my
GoFundMe. So go
read
look
it.
at your GoFundMe.
Yeah, I want y'all to go read it.
Right.
I want everyone to go read it. See, you're antagonizing me.
I'm not antagonizing nothing. I'm standing up for the community, sir.
Slandering me.
That's what I do. I stand up for the community. Did you not hear any of these other community members? Did you not hear any of them telling you to leave? Did you not hear any of these protesters and community members saying you're the reason also why the barricades are up? I think you need to do the right thing, sir. You need to put down the costume and you need to come back for justice for Mica. You need to come back for justice for Mica. We go to all the communities, sir. That's why we have love, because we go to the communities, because we really do care. Go ahead, promote it, because it needs to be heard. Go ahead, record me. Seriously, the community has been reaching out to me. Let me tell you something, Jay. The community has reached out to me since the first week that I was here.
You're showing hate. How am I showing hate? You didn't see what he's talking about?
Twisting and manipulating a conversation. I wasn't even looking at him when he came up and was talking to the old lady.
You're acting like Jesus, and Jesus would not this way.
See?
At all. Exactly. Just walk away. Jesus would have been a
Justice for agenda. Be about justice for Mica.
Justice for Mica! Justice for Mica!
Plastic because it's fake. That's why I say plastic Jesus, because it's fake. Why are the barriers up? Please.
Look at how he's acting in this video too. Look at him screaming.
And that's what he does. Those are the two people that support, compared to all these other people right here that don't.
Because the blonde-headed girl said she only sees people harassing Jay, not him.
No.
Look at his
I'm
face.
standing up for the lady because she had a legitimate question. What's it for?
Remember when Allison called me and told me she wasn't going to be the protester anymore, and I was going to be the lead, but I said, no, I don't want to be the leader of protest. You know why? Because I'm not protesting. Why do I say that? You know why? Because I'm not bound by the protest rules, Melissa. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm my own protest, is what he said. He unmasked himself. That's what I told. Did I not tell you guys this? I said these people, and for time, restraints, I'm not gonna I'll drop the link again to the video. You guys can check it out. It's like 20 minutes of 26 minutes of their venom towards the protesters. Here's the video for this. You can check it out after the show. 20, almost 30 minutes of their venom towards me, the protesters, and the Justice for Mica movement. These people right here. And then Mr. iPhone Glitch that records it. This is you know who. Of course they're gonna spin this stuff. All the lies and stuff like this, you guys know me in the background. Shoot, I am the farthest from any of this. I try to be about peace, positivity, and progress every which way in between, because I know that's the only way we can succeed when it comes to justice for these victims. It's so I just wanted to get through that real quick because it just needed to be brought up. The another day is another part of their agenda that gets pushed, and I think people, like I said, really need to hear from their own words, their own actions, because that's the only thing that's gonna really expose them is themselves. All we are is we're just here to scoop it up so that justice for Mica and the protesters don't have to, because it's not their fault. It's not their responsibility, and it's not. It has. They shouldn't even have to focus on any of it. That's why I'm here to focus on it, and I'm here to make sure that the right thing does happen. So I want to say I appreciate, just like me, Melissa, Allie, protesters. They're attacking everybody. They're attacking everybody. And whose agenda is that? That's Solid Rock's agenda. That's JP's agenda. These are agendas of the church. Who do you don't you think the church loves having the barriers up right in front of their building so they don't have to have people standing there? Who loves that? The church. Don't you think the church loves seeing the barriers up, blocking off the sidewalks because they know that the Justice for Mica protest is making neighbors upset because now they can't walk down their sidewalk? It makes you wonder who really is aligned with who. And that's what these people do. They put on these sheep outfits. I'm here for the protest. I'm here for justice for Micah. But when they unzip it and take it off when they get home, they're about Solid Rock. They're about JP's agenda. Oh yeah, I'm just here to make them take their sheep clothing off so they reveal themselves, and that's what they're doing. You see this every day now. Every day they're revealing themselves even more when it comes to their agenda. These are their own words. It really is a wolf in sheep clothing. That's why I said 3 months ago when I did a show about it. Look. And this was their I'm telling you guys, the first week he was there, I had people coming up to me telling me to keep him away. Ladies, because he wouldn't leave them alone about their information. There's people in the community that know exactly what I'm talking about. He won't stop leaving you alone until he knows your name, gets your email address, your phone number, how old you are, all this personal information. That's why people are uncomfortable with him. That's why the ladies have always been uncomfortable with him, because not only when they don't give them, like, there's stories of how he antagonizes these females too. It is grooming behavior, because there's one protester that told me a story, and she was like, CJ, I still would not tell him my name, and you know what he did? He walked right by me singing, won't you be my neighbor? And then she said, and right after he came up to my Justice for Micah sign, he stopped and said, neighbor. And she goes, CJ, I can't go no more. After that, I had to quit going because he just put me in a state of fear. It's, I'm serious. I wouldn't be surprised if at a certain point in time, this dude has a lot of lawsuits from these females when it comes to the predator type shit that he's doing out there. When they wanted him to sign the paper for the protesters in an agreement where all the protesters had to sign, remember, he refused and said he's not part of the protest. That's where the whole video came from. He's not part of the protest. He doesn't have to sign any of it because he's not bound by their rules. Well, then why did you take a photo of all their names? You took a photo of everybody's name that was on that piece of paper. Oh, I bet it's more than 350 each, SOC. These people are probably making bank off of JP, because look at what they got. They got the protesters not to be allowed, or the community not to be allowed on the sidewalk across the street. They're having the Justice for Micah look bad to the community, but yet they have nothing to do with justice for Micah. It's their own word, uh, with your manipulation and twist with God's word, and I feel bad for the people that actually sit there and listen to him talk because they probably are getting manipulated. Like, it's just hard to think about the people that are like, oh my gosh, this guy is about good, but yet they don't know what lies beneath that costume. Scary shit. All right, now I'm going to show some video clips here. You guys saw um, the members only. I put them out today. It took me a while to put the members only videos out, just because it takes so long to upload them. But when it comes to Lumber River State Park, I'm going to play some of the video and not really have the sound up because I kind of want to talk to you guys about what you guys think about Lumber River State Park. Now, when it comes to being out there, been out there a few times. My biggest question, you guys have been out there in the mucky woods and kind of exploring yourself. I think you said, how long did you guys go one time? It was like you guys
Oh
didn't.
man, we walked back there for an hour and a half. And we just kind of stumbled upon that road and all because we went looking for Mica's memorial, and we made a wrong turn and just got on them roads back there and just kept walking to see where the hell they went. And probably a good hour and a half at the most.
Yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns back there. There's a lot of mucky woods. Now, you guys were able to get back to the memorial, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. So when you got back there, what'd you think about the story of the purse and all that stuff when you guys got back there? Because it's one thing to like look at it in pictures, but it's a completely different atmosphere when you're actually there. So what did you think about the atmosphere and when it comes to where this was found and this was at and the purse and the items from the boat coming in on a boat, all those different things. What did you guys think about? Is that what first got you to really dig in to Mica's case, was the whole how she was found and the events that took place?
Well, no, well that, but also the 911 call and the fact that he went and did a whole 2 sermons the day after, preached 2 sermons, and then was like, oh yeah, by the way, my wife passed away. Like it was a second thought. Like, it's just, oh, I'm just going to make this little announcement. Like she didn't even matter. And then he went on his little media tour with his little fake crying and, all that mess. And then the fisherman did his little media tour as well, trying to spin his narrative. I don't believe a word he said about it. I think he was either paid off, he was the lookout, he was the one that was supposed to, dispose of, her body or whatever. And I think he got spooked back there and he dropped the bag or whatever. Or he was sent back there to place the bag and he got spooked.
He was going to take that bag regardless.
Yeah, because he was going to take it regardless. But,
Isn't it weird how,
it's just too convenient that, it's so gross back there. Because, CJ, you've been back there many times, too. It's grown up back there. It's a swamp. You've been in there on a boat with Trey. You are not going to be able to see a bag on the bank from the slough and not see a body in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you guys. Like, did you once you got there? Because I mean, even with the pictures, I was like, I don't know how you can, really. But that was just off other video. But when I went there and I kind of not only walked up in that area, but also went on the boat. So I've been there probably 7 or 8 times now. Um, that's when I was like, I don't know how somebody could, because you're not looking for it, right? You're not gonna if you're looking for a fanny pack and you know a general area, I could see you. I could see you seeing it, but who's thinking that they're going to find a fanny pack when they're going back there? Your focus isn't going to be focused on a specific area. You're going to be looking all around because if you're listening to a story on how you don't just go up on something you don't know what's going on because, and that's not an area that you can just duck in and duck out real quick. I mean, there's a lot of, with the footage that we showed you just getting into the slough. There's obstructions and there's trees sticking out and there's trees laying underneath the water. You really have to navigate it back there. And so to me it was always just like, man, that's crazy. I when it comes to the service, another thing was that, when he was going to make the announcement during that service, it was almost like he was trying to work up courage to make the announcement. Not that it's not like he was quiet and was trying to hold emotion back. It was rambling, uh, just to be able to kind of spit it out real quick and then kind of don't talk. Okay, don't talk about it. Let's move on to the next thing. And then when you hear the prayer that Mr. Randall prayed for JP, and none of it was about Micah when they were supposedly really close as well. That was I don't know. It's just when you watch it, you're just like something just don't seem right. The 911 call, you don't even hear her name. It's weird that you're going to some location you don't know where you're at to self unalive yourself. Um, you're going to make your family go to a different state and go into the woods or rely on park officials to find you. So then, therefore, none of that really made sense whatsoever. Um, now, how many times have you guys been out there?
We've been out there 4 or 5 times now. Every time we go out there, we try to do something a little different, like hit a different spot, or like we done this past weekend when we went to all the stores and stuff. Like we were doing them one at a time, and we done to recreated her route, from her apartment all the way up, and went to the memorial and all that, and like that's what got me interested in the case, and it was the fact that none of it makes sense. And I mean, it's when I say it doesn't make sense, when you actually sit back and you look at all the stuff that doesn't make sense about it, I mean, it's just, I don't know, man.
It don't.
I mean, nothing makes sense about it. And hell, I thought about, something that you said kind of made me look at how I was looking at it, and helped me word it the way I wanted to. I think the whole damn thing is put on. It's like one big ass show to keep you from seeing what really happened. Because I mean, there's no local news reporting on it. Nobody from the pawn shop had been interviewed or nothing that I've seen. I mean, they interviewed that one dude from 41 Grocery. I mean, it's just like all the footage they got of her it fits that narrative perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like a damn 3-card money game. You know, you watch this cup with the money in it now. You keep watching this while you don't see what Mother Hand's doing. I think it's all a big ass act to cover up what really happened. And at times I get to thinking like that, and I'm like, man, that's kind of crazy to think that. But you're also talking about $5.9 million worth of assets and possible trafficking allegations, you know. So, hell, anything's possible when you look at that part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there. There's a lot. I mean, it just you know, you look at the, you know, like when it comes to self-funded lives and how even in Johnny J's own words, when he pulls up to bring the fanny pack back and the belongings, they had already, before they were getting the drones in the air, didn't even get the call from the kayaker yet. They were getting the drones up in the air to try and find her, and the law enforcement was already telling Johnny J that it was already, it's a self-unalive situation. You know, and they didn't even find her yet. So, you know, and then when you show up and the evidence is where it's at, you know, when it comes to the weapon, the casings, um, the tree, the belongings, all in these different directions, you know, it's there would have been something that would have went, okay, wait a minute, this, we need to look a little bit further into it. But it, you know, like you guys said, it's a common thing for them to just be like, you know what, all right, cool, that's just another case that we can close, and we don't have to worry about it.
Well, you know, my thing about it is like, I mean, you don't have no information to go off of other than JP's story and the fisherman's story. You know, you got the medical examiner report from Robeson County, but in North Carolina, if you know, if you state that you're going to unalive yourself, they don't even do a investigation. So I mean, what else do you have to go by? And then, I mean, the whole thing just sounds kind of asinine. You know, okay, I left my abusive husband, and I'm ready to start my life over. And then at the blink of an eye, I'm gonna go unalive myself. So I'm gonna drive 80 damn miles out of the way to do it, so my family can find me. And I'm gonna stop at this shithole store that no woman should even go to by herself. It's such a shithole. And I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna fill the car up with gas, and I'm gonna stop at the pawn shop and buy a damn $600 gun to do it with, because Lord knows this $100 gun ain't gonna do the job. I mean, none of it makes sense. To walk a mile down in the damn woods. I mean, even the medical examiner's report. I mean, if it's not fabricated, it proves she wasn't unalive there. Going by the livor mortis thing, livor mortis. I mean, you can't deny gravity. You know, you can't deny gravity. Livor mortis takes 30 minutes more to set in, and her blood was pooled in her posterior, which is her back of her legs, buttocks. So that means she was laying on her back for 30 minutes plus. But yet they found her prone on her stomach. I mean, that don't make sense. That don't make sense. The entrance wound is bigger than the damn exit wound. That don't make sense.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think they're trying so damn hard to keep you from seeing what really happened that they ain't thinking of how asinine some of this stuff sounds.
No, and that's true. It's to anybody, it should have raised red flags, you know. But then again, we're talking about Robeson County. That's just kind of what they do. It's almost like they want these to be, as soon as they hear, you know, like the cell phone alive where they're like, oh, cool, we can really, and we'll just close it down, shut it down, and move on.
Yeah, well, we don't
Right?
have to do no work.
They almost want people to mention it so then they can go with that narrative. And it's just like what, especially when you listen to the 911 call. I personally, let me ask you guys this, because I don't think it's Mica. Do you think that it is Mica on
No,
that 911?
Absolutely not.
No.
I don't think it is.
No.
I've thought that from the beginning. We've done voice comparisons with the Facebook videos compared to the 911 call. The fact that, if you're wanting your family to find you, why wouldn't you tell the 911 operator what your name is, right?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you
And
say my name is such and such? You can find me here.
Well, I question the 911 call dispatcher too. I mean, I'm not a dispatcher, so I don't know what the proper protocol is. But I mean, I always figured if somebody called 911 and said, "Hey, I'm fixing to do that to myself," they would try to talk to you.
Yeah,
keep
talk
you
you out of
from
it.
doing it. Give time. For first responders to get there to try to talk you out of doing that. I mean, hell, basically that woman like, oh, hey, I'm gonna do it. Okay, well, let me see where you're at. And it's just,
Kylie brings up a great point. Like, the dispatcher doesn't really sound like she knows how to handle it. That's how it sounded to me. Like she was like, "Oh, ma'am, okay, where are you?" Instead of "ma'am," like you're trying to find out her location instead of trying to help her change her mind, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
that
totally
made
suspicious.
no sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like somebody was paid to maybe impersonate the dispatcher. I mean, I don't know, but she even fumbled the Lumber River because she was going to say the Lumberton or the Lumbee something. And if you're from that area, you're not going to fumble the words. You know what you're talking about over there because they have their own language. It's been many years ago, but I had an experience talking to 911. A friend, my roommate at the time, her boyfriend died, and I was the one that called 911. And I knew he had already passed away. I mean, I was looking at it, but
oh no,
yeah, it was bad. I'll talk about that later. But the dispatcher on 911 literally was like, okay, tell me who you are, where are you, where are you? Even though, they had GPS and could pick up my phone and stuff. I mean, they were asking me tons of questions, unlike what this dispatcher did when this person, Mica, called saying that what she was going to do. Like, this person was on the phone with me, did not hang up with me until the paramedics got there, and it was already like, working, doing CPR and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't believe 1 minute that was a real 911 call, like a live. You know what I mean?
Wow, I've
like
never thought of that.
911 call.
See, that's the first time I ever thought about that. Now, I just thought it was an inexperienced, dispatcher. But I never, and I see where you're coming from. That's really interesting. Oh, sorry. That's really interesting. I never thought about that. Because to me, it just sounds like just inexperienced, didn't know what she was doing. But I would think that if it was like a true call and you are inexperienced, there's going to be somebody next to you, like a supervisor or an authority figure that would have to be on staff for escalation purposes. I would assume that that you would like say I'm the dispatcher, right? I would assume like here's my phone, and or you got your headset and I hit mute real quick. Hey, can you come over here, Jimmy? I need your help real quick. Yeah, somebody's talking about doing this. Okay, ma'am. Yes. Okay, ma'am. You know what? Like you're gonna signal for some kind of assistance from a higher authority to kind of help you through the situation and that through the whole call with like pauses involved where you would think like if somebody tells you this, the last thing you want, the last thing you would want also is to hear dead silence. You want to keep them talking. You want to keep their mind off committing what they're about to commit so you can try and change it. You want to keep talking to the person. So it was just a very odd call, but I never thought about that. But that is interesting though, how it's almost like it was done that way. But that would be really deep if it was like that's the thing. If there's so many people involved in this, I just don't know how people can keep a secret, man. You know? That's my biggest thing about it is even with a few people, it's hard for 5 people, right? When they're doing stuff like this and there's 5 people involved, usually the other 4 are thinking that one of the other one's going to be they're all kind of like not trusting each other unless they're like this clique that has that bubble where they all have something on one another. But a lot of people, like even going to the county, um, that would be huge. I'm just
Well,
thinking,
CJ,
yeah.
what you just said, like about them keeping secrets. That was one of the things that kept throwing me off. Too many people. Somebody's going to talk. But who's the focus been on the most? It's been on JP and it's been on the fisherman. So that gives other people that could have been involved plenty of time to backtrack, get rid of evidence, clean up, possibly leave. And I honestly think that could be why the focus has been on them two so much. They keep that focus on them. At one time it seemed like every damn week something's going on with JP that's putting him out there.
Yeah, like
It's
a
like
red
that focus
herring.
is on him.
Like a red
And the
herring.
thing is, JP is a narcissistic, abusive piece of shit. but he's not dumb.
No,
he's not dumb, man. I mean, that focus is on him for a reason. Can't nobody, like you said about the fisherman, he didn't just wake up at 50-something years old dumb. Nah, that focus is on him for a damn reason, man. I don't see it no other way. Because, if there was, with him keeping that focus on him like that, it's keeping people from looking at other spots they probably need to be looking at. Which I don't know what federal agents might be looking at. They're not going to tell nobody nothing until their investigation is over. But for other people like us, this sleuthing and just trying to find the truth and trying to help out and stuff, you keep the focus on one thing, you're not going to be looking in other places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's true. It's just like, like the stuff that you see going on where that's why, if people I always tell people you got to look at things just like you would drive. You're not going to drive a vehicle if you didn't have side windows and a rear window. You need to be able to look in all directions and explore all directions because if you're focused, I'm not trying to drive a car where I can only see out of the front windshield. I'm sorry, I'm going to crash. It's going to happen.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
And so when people don't do that or avoid that, it's it is easy for those people to get it. I call it confetti. It's like these people that want to hide the truth, just like even people we talked about earlier. They sprinkle this confetti in front of you and the truth. So you can kind of see the truth behind the confetti, but the confetti to some people, the colors and the sparkles, and they're like, oh my gosh, look at the colors. You know, they're so captivated by the confetti falling in front of them, but they could literally, if they weren't focused on the confetti, they could see the truth behind the confetti.
Exactly, bro. Because I mean, there's been so many distractions in this case that I mean, it's, you know, and I feel like, you know, I think a lot of these distractions are purposeful distractions. You just talked about a couple of them distractions a while ago, and I didn't. I was trying to be respectful, and I didn't want to, you know, say nothing about them distractions. But
You're good.
I got a question that goes back to that. I watched your video earlier, the whole one that Mr. Guru and Courtney put out. They were trying to say that you do this for clicks and likes and money.
Yeah.
Now, if you were really doing this for clicks and likes and money, would you be driving 15 fucking hours to do it? Couldn't you sit at your house and just make a random video?
Yeah. To be honest with you, it would save a lot of money if I did just sit at home and but really I go to these, I mean that and come on, who wants to drive? Like, can you imagine driving 14 to 16 hours once a week, 2 times? Like once a week and a half for 3 months. Like every week and a half, 2 times making 14 to 16-hour drives.
Brother, I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, that's what I do for a living is drive.
There you go.
And so I mean, yeah, you wouldn't. You're not doing this.
No, it's a it's a lonely life, man. It's a lonely freaking life.
It is, man.
It is.
It is. And it's sad because I mean, you called it. You called it. People they show their true colors, and you know the truth comes out, and it just shows you how, I guess, dumb people can be. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of distractions in this entire case, man, and
it's unfortunate too, you know.
It is, man. It really is.
Especially when it comes to, because you know, the laws. Yeah, I do care. That's what, like, I give up so much stuff personally just to be there for the community, you know, as much as I can. Like, it's not one of those, it's not, you don't make the bank like these people claim. Anything that I do make literally is going towards, you know, going to communities. And the time that it takes too, it's a lot of a time commitment as well. I could be going out shooting hoops. I could be having cookouts. I could be playing games. I could be going to amusement parks. I could be having a holiday. I don't even have holidays. Like, there's all these things that I could be doing, and no, I don't do it for clicks and views. I do it because I care. And
exactly, brother.
Yeah, that's what threatens these people so much, is because when they see somebody that comes around that truly does care, it makes them look bad. It exposes what they're really about, and who they truly are. And the thing is these people, even though I'm calling out the hot dog steaks, I'm not making these videos like they are, and they're really just showing you who they really are, and they're exposing themselves through their own words. It's one of those things where when people are so narcissistic, they're very confident as well. And when they get used to being able to use, you know, they get used to being successful with their manipulations and their twisting and their agendas and all of these things. And when somebody is standing up and showing them with facts and their own information about how they're not what they're telling people they are. This is what they do. They spaz. They try and hurry up and create all these different narratives, and what they're doing is they're showing everybody exactly who they are on the inside. And you see it with the things that take place. You see it with the the conversations. You see it with the energy. You see it getting more and more and more and more to the point where they're basically, and they don't even know it, but they're telling you who they are because they're so confident, thinking that all these people, they're so used to the manipulation working for so long. And just like SEM, they're used to scamming all these families for so long, getting away with making money off of victims and families' names, and then they finally get busted. It all comes out. That's why I always tell people, like, um, I am about the community and I do care. So if I'm going to get exposed, I'm just going to get exposed for what because you're always going to get exposed for what you're doing. And I'm just justice for the community. So I can't go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and expose how much I care for the community, because the only thing that's going to expose from them is their agenda. And you already see it happening. It's, I just, when they talk about the protesters like that, it's, that's where it hits you, man, because you've been out there, you and Lori have been out there. You see the protesters and how much they care, and you hear their stories and why they're there. A lot of people are there because they are domestic violence victims and survivors themselves. That's why it means so much to them.
Exactly, man. And that in itself, because you do have survivors out there, then you got people wondering, well, why are they against Jay? Well, I mean, hell, Jay makes them feel uncomfortable. I mean, damn, that's why. Like you say, you got people that don't even come to the protest anymore because of him.
Yeah.
And that's sad, man. That's sad. And don't get me wrong, I understood exactly what he was saying the other week about the whole control thing. That's how they control us. But that's turning the protest into something like, protesting against violation of our rights as people.
Right.
That's getting into a whole governmental thing. That's not what nobody's there for. They're there for justice for Mica.
Exactly.
He was just trying to take the focus off of Mica. That's what he's doing.
Right. Because you guys, yeah, YouTube is being wonky. You guys weren't crossing the barriers. You guys weren't going on the parts of the sidewalk where people weren't allowed to go, based off of, is it just? No, it's not. That's why there's been some protesters this week reaching out to state representatives and all the branches and stuff. And there might be some movement about the barricades and stuff this weekend. We'll see. They've been doing a great job in the background. Is it fair? No, it's not fair, but we still have to follow the rules of what is what is presented to us until there's some kind of legal, remedy that can come from it, and that's just the right thing happening. So hopefully reaching out, there's been people reaching out constantly, and it takes a community. It takes everybody calling their local and state officials and telling them about this and sharing your stories with them. Not only, like say this is not just and this is not right, but share your stories too. Because the reason that they're in the positions that they're in is because of people. They have to. They're there for the people of the state. You need to contact them and let them know how much it means to you. Even with the Mica's Law stuff, that's going to be coming up here soon, where it can get a possible vote coming up here in a couple months, I believe. So hopefully some things can happen, because that's why it takes a community. If you got one person screaming, it can only be so loud. But if you have a whole bunch of people screaming, just think of a football stadium in your local high school in your town, and when there's a whole bunch of people screaming for the touchdown in your local town, and how far that sound travels. It's a lot different than one person standing out there on that football field screaming something. It's a totally different sound. But people do have to respect the law, and it's not certain people's rules or anything like that. It's rules for the protest. Now, you guys, what do you when it comes to like the surrounding areas? One of the things that we did, and I want to say thank you so much for doing it. And I thought it was really cool how we did it when we had the phone call where we were talking on the phone, but also going to the 3 different locations of Johnny Jacobs where he went to get his lighter that day. Now, I'm not from there. I wasn't familiar with the area, but when I went up there and we did that that Saturday, it really opened my eyes, because to me, when we drove to each one, to me it was like, how could you get all these different stores mixed up when you're talking about your story? What did you guys think about all those different spots? The McClellans, and you even went into some of the stores too, if you want to share your experiences with each one. When you guys went in there, what did you think about all the different uh, basically routes that you would have to take to go to each one? It was all pretty much in its own little area.
Well, the crazy thing about it is, like, I seen some of the comments on your videos when you posted them, like people talking about how far or how long the drive was.
Yeah.
It did seem like it was long drives, because you're basically driving through a bunch of nothing. I mean, there's
Right.
trees and fields, and that's it. But the crazy thing about it is, every one of those spots is all within 15-minute ride of Lumber River State Park. And all of them is basically 30 to 40 minutes away from, 41 Grocery. I mean, I just thought that was crazy how all that's right there together. And then, like, as for the stores, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think the fisherman's story is a bunch of bullshit. His story has changed from interview to interview to interview. I mean, if you tell him the truth don't damn change, and you don't have to memorize the truth, because the truth's the truth. He's just, everything changes from interview to interview with him. So I mean, I thought it was bullshit from the get go. I'm a smoker, and I don't see being out on the damn rivers, fishing, and I don't even got a lighter. My nerves is tore up. I want my cigarettes so damn bad, and no, I mean, hell, I keep 2 or 3 damn lighters, in my possession. I mean, no, that's a bunch of bull, man. I'm sorry, but we went to the stores. We had, that day we was with you was the first time we went to Floyd's. The people that run that store is very nice people, because after you left, they closed at 3.
Yeah, that's
the
the weird thing too. They closed at 3 in the afternoon. Isn't that weird? They wouldn't have been open. They wouldn't have been open for him to go to, because he would have had to be there at 3:20 at the earliest.
And see, like, them people that run it, when I say they were so polite, because that lady that was out there, they're out there doing like cleaning and stuff in the parking lot. After you left, I just pulled over there and asked, like, ma'am, y'all are closed, right? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, well, why? Y'all need something? And I said, yeah, we were just going to see about using the restroom. And she was like, baby, if I had the key on me, I'd open it up and let y'all go on in there. You know, so I mean, they were willing to reopen the store for two people that they've never seen before, so we could go use the restroom. I mean, you know, if she would have had the key, she would have done it. So I mean, I don't know. That was just to me, it seemed like a good place, a decent place. The Orem General Store, when we stopped there that morning, we basically stopped, you know, see if they had a restroom or whatever, and you know, the lady wouldn't even speak. You know, when I asked her if they had a restroom, she just kind of shook her head. And I'm like, so you're saying you don't have a restroom? And she shook her head again. Now, she did speak the second time I went in there. You know, maybe she just wasn't a morning person, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but...
Oh, so she did talk to you when you went in there again?
Yeah, she talked that second time when I got the waters.
But that's the one that had the whole restaurant beside it.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing with that too. I mean, it's that's the one that's got the whole restaurant there, and they serve all the food and stuff, but yet they don't got a bathroom.
That's the.
I mean,
which one was that? The
the
McClellan?
Orem General Store.
The Orem General Store.
Yeah, that's the one that's down the street from the Dollar General.
Yeah, which is weird because it's like a gas station, grocery, and grill, which is weird. There's a lot of grocery and grills around there, I've noticed. Yeah, that's weird because it's a gas station, like you said, a little diner on the side. Every gas station usually has a bathroom, and if they don't, there's an outhouse or you know, a bathroom at the back of the building or something that you do need a key to get in, kind of like probably what that lady was talking about when it comes to that. It almost looked like the family that was living there right next to that Floyd's was the one that owned it, because I've seen that video going back and forth a few times. With McClellan's, that was one that was weird to me because that was just a little teeny thing. It was kind of interesting because only there for a minute, and then one of the people from McClellan's and then a neighbor was like on their phone, mean mugging, a lot of mean mugging. But what about your experience when you went into McClellan's?
I don't even know why that's a store. I mean, it really, truly, that's got to be a place that's mainly open in case somebody that lives right there near it needs something.
Like what?
I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of. They didn't have a whole lot of nothing that I saw, really. I mean, you know, it looked like they had a few canned goods or box goods or whatever you could get, and you know, I was mainly focusing on, like, I was gonna get us an energy drink if they had one, because we were both, you know, kind of crashing. We both get up early as hell, and you know, we were kind of crashing. So their coolers, I don't know, just had like a little spattering of sodas, you know, like, you know, a couple cans of Pepsi and like one Mountain Dew, couple of Sprites. You know, they didn't have, you know, there was an open can in there. It must be one of the guys that was in there. There's two older gentlemen sitting there smoking, sitting in like little recliner chairs and shit with a TV playing. And I asked the guy, like, man, I said, I'm just kind of dragging. I need something to wake my ass up. I said, you don't have no energy drinks, do you? No, never had no need for them. I'm like, well, all right, you know, cool, you know, I'll head on back out, buddy. Yeah, just, you know, and they sitting there looking at me like, you know, they obviously knew I wasn't from around there. So I mean, you know, I don't even know why that's a store. I mean, I damn sure wouldn't go there.
They were smoking.
Yeah, sitting there smoking cigarettes. Yeah, sitting there smoking cigarettes and watching TV and just relax. Like, you know, just two older gentlemen.
Like they were at the house.
Yeah, like old country store, like they just sitting there chilling, you know.
Isn't that against the rules of North Carolina? I thought that's pretty much everywhere in the country, ain't it? You can't be smoking in a store, right? Even if you want to. I don't know. That's weird.
Well, yeah, a lot of places have quit with, you know, indoor smoking and stuff, and well, I mean, I guess it don't affect his place, you know.
Well, it is out there. It is out in the middle of nowhere, and they probably don't have any law enforcement stopping there, I would assume.
And you know, the first time we ever went there, and we went to McClellan's following the fisherman tale, it was closed. And I mean, it won't really that late either when we went by there. It was closed.
5 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
4 or 5 o'clock.
Really?
And it was on a weekday too, because we went on a Wednesday. That was the first time we went. Yeah, the first time we made our trip to Lumber River State Park, and all we cut by McClellan's, kind of following up the fisherman story, and it was like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and that they were closed.
Wow. I wonder if maybe that's how it is. The small community, they all close up, so that way they're, which is good because, I mean, it sucks if you need something because you got to drive quite a bit to get something, but at the same time, it's nice that families can be together in the evening time. I think that's one of the things that's missing in this world.
Well, I'm glad you got to see it. I'm really glad you got to see it. And that's something, if you got people in the chat, anybody from South Carolina, they can vouch for this and verify it. South Carolina has maybe 4, 5 big cities. And I really wouldn't even call them cities compared to actual cities in other states.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of the state is little pissant towns, just like where we were at, and like when you went through Fairbluff and you said in your video it looked like a ghost town to you, you'd be surprised how many small towns in South Carolina look just like that. Because I mean, in South Carolina, you got Myrtle Beach and Charleston, you got Columbia, you got the Spartanburg, Greenville area that's pretty big, and that's really about it. You might can throw Florence in there, but hell, Florence ain't shit either. It's just not a lot, man. It's a bunch of small towns, and that's how a lot of this stuff goes on. Corruption with law enforcement and stuff like that. Because I mean, you got families. You got a lot of old money in South Carolina. Families. Certain families might own damn near everything in a town. Some of these towns you go through, like, Chesterfield County is one of the biggest counties in South Carolina. And the actual town of Chesterfield, hell, if you blink a couple times, you might miss it going through there. I think they got like 4 stoplights and a Piggly Wiggly. That's about it. I mean, it's a bunch of small towns, man. And a lot of these small towns is who you know, how much money your family's got, what your last name is, or how much ass you kiss, depending on, your status in the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of creepy too, because there's a lot of nothing in between.
Oh yes.
A lot of nothing in between. Those small little towns.
Dude, there's one stretch of highway. I used to, a lot of time people do travel for work. Because these towns are so small. You might live in a town that doesn't have like a mill or anything to work in, so you're driving to another town to work. I used to work in a small town, McBee, South Carolina, and there's a stretch of highway. I'm talking about, it took me 35, 40 minutes to get to work, and I'd leave work at night and sometimes and not pass a single damn car.
Wow.
The whole trip home, I mean, it's that.
I do notice that because, like, when I'm going out in the outskirts, it really is maybe just a couple cars. But I'm telling you, man, I drive by all these places, and it's just constant mean mugging. In these small little
that's how it is.
Yeah, in the small little communities. Even when you're just going to a store or something. Hell, even when we were out here on this particular day, I was kind of up there. at the top of the hill for a second by myself, and I saw this guy talking to this lady, and then he stops, looks at me like he was going to say something to me, and then just kind of like jump back for a second, then turn around and just kept walking. I'm like, damn. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't.
And out there where we were at, when you done your video and you were talking about how those guys come up on you, and you know they were mean mugging you, kind of talking, you know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like they were being honest with you, but they were also giving you a warning too. Them places, man,
so many
them
times.
cats don't play. They
Yeah.
don't play. They know outsiders. I don't know. Coming up, that's just always been places they told us, you know, you don't fuck around in them places, you know.
Yeah, they told me. I was like, holy crap! Like this is kind of overbearing with, you know, like the conversation of how you can get away with anything there, and I don't know, you know, how many times they were telling me, you know, you don't know where you're at, son, and it's just like over and over and over, and I'm like, no, I'm good, trust me. Like this is what I do. I go to places where it's an uncomfortable situation because you have people that don't want the truth to be found out, and you're there to find out the truth.
Exactly.
But yeah, they did, and they definitely, there was like 5 or 6 of them. You know, they definitely, you know, if they could have done something if they wanted to, but no, it was real interesting. I mean, yeah, is when I heard that, it's kind of nice when you hear that kind of stuff because they are giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
Like, look, man, you know, like you got to be careful when you're coming around here. You know, even though I go out there by myself, I've been out there by myself plenty of times, but every time you know, people are always warning not to go out there by yourself. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, you can definitely see you don't even have to say nothing. They can just basically look at you and tell that you're different. And
Oh
I don't
man,
know.
like some of them, I know some of them personally. Um, some of the best people you'd ever want to meet in your life. Give you the shirt off their back if you needed it, but at the same time, you just don't mess with them because they'll hurt you. And then you got some that's just crazy as shit off the rip. You know, won't even speak to you. I mean, like, you know, time we got there that morning, old dude passed us, and we all said good morning. And hell, he looked at us like, hey, you know, fuck y'all, and just kept right on walking.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know, kind of like a toss up, like a 50-50 toss up of what you're gonna get. Cause like you notice, like you hung back when we got to the observation deck, and me and Lori went forward. Like we try to make them speak to us, I guess. You know, throw it on out there, get that, you know, get that greeting on out there. That way they ain't thinking no crazy shit, and then you know, they're either gonna talk to you or they're not. And if they don't, that's when you be like, okay, I'm gonna go about my business here.
No, it's true. When I walked up there, that's what I have to do. I have to read the situation constantly. And that was one of those situations where I read it and it was like, it's not worth going in there with all those people surrounding you, and you know, I've already documented the observation deck. It's not with nobody on it. It's not like I needed to go on the observation deck to document it and to inflame that kind of situation. Before I even like, I was a good 10-15 feet from the entrance there, and was already getting the dirty looks from multiple people. So yeah, that's why it's like, you know, hey, I've already got the coverage over here. We'll just definitely don't want to get you all, you know, any attention to you guys either. With me being there, I didn't want the camera and things like that to then bring a negative attention in your direction either. So it was one of those situations where it's like, I'll just hang back here, take some video of some trees and stuff for a minute, and then we'll turn around. It didn't seem like they were real talkative either. It was
no, they could. I mean, they could tell that we weren't. We weren't locals.
Yeah, local.
We are locals to the area, but that being said, we're not
living
right there in that town. We don't live far from that area, and we grew up around these areas our whole lives, and that's how we know what we know about the areas. But we don't live in that area itself.
What did oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, sir. You go ahead.
I was going to ask you, like, being in that area, like, when did it turn bad, or has it always been bad?
Shit, dude. I'm 44 years old, man, and I remember back when I was a preteen. My parents telling me those were just places you didn't mess around at. You didn't go over there. Just there was just areas that you just didn't mess around in, man.
It's I'm trying to think. There was only like 6,000 people that lived there, I think, right?
Yeah, it's not big population.
This was a crazy thing when we were talking when we met up this particular day too. You had told me that the average income was $22,000 per year for the average income there, and I think poverty is like 30. What is it, 32 or something like that now? Poverty is like under 32.
And I ain't gonna lie, man. That would be a lot of people in South Carolina, and probably a lot of people right along the border there in North Carolina too. Because I think South Carolina is like one of the lowest paid states in the country. A lot of people say that Florida is like the dick of America because it juts off into the water. Well, if that's the truth, South Carolina is the butthole of America. They ain't nothing here, man.
It's so expensive.
And, everything's high, but your pay's not high.
Yeah.
And then some of these mills and stuff, like there's a lot of textile mills and different other kind of mills around here. But some of these towns, it all depends on who and whose ass you kiss to get on in these places. And that's why a lot of people end up traveling to go to work and working out of town and stuff, because the little towns that you live in, it's hard to find jobs around here. And only certain ones pay decently. And no, there's not a lot around here, man. There really isn't. There's just not a lot around here. But it goes back to like when we was talking about them campers, it's what we know, because we're here. All of us could get up and leave from here and move off somewhere else, but hell, then this is all you know.
Yeah, small town America.
Or your family's here or whatever, so.
Yeah. It's all you know, and your family's there. Exactly. It's that's one of the things. Like, it's like it's got to be just tourists, and then a bunch of small towns and communities on it. I don't understand how it's. Maybe that's why it's so expensive, because there's not the population.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. You just nailed it. You got a lot of small towns, and you got a lot of little communities in between these small towns, and then you got them, 4 or 5 big actual. I hate to even call them cities, but yeah, cities. Around here where we live at, we travel out to some of those different cities just, for entertainment purposes, or to go shopping and get shit you want, because, you just don't have it in the stores around here.
Yeah, and then you say that old money, they basically they create a bigger gap between the people that do make the money and the people that are struggling. So there's an even bigger gap.
And they also, a lot of that old money keeps some of these small towns from expanding. Because, you know, some of these, there has been times when businesses have, you know, come forth stating they're going to, you know, they're going to build in this city or going to build in this town or whatever, but then they end up and they don't. And it's probably because, you know, some of these older, you know, these old money families that's used to owning everything's probably greasing the right palms and like, nah, we ain't wanting this to come here. You know, so a lot of these towns don't have growth, you know, except for Dollar General. I mean, like I said, they'll put a Dollar General in your asshole if you got enough room for it. I mean, they'll pop them up any damn where, but other than Dollar Generals, you don't see a lot of stuff getting built around here.
So it's like Razor Blue, yeah, in my rural town, the food and gas is more expensive. We'll drive 25 miles for groceries every weekend. It's cheaper.
Well, like the town we live in, dude, we've got 2 places you can get groceries at. And both of them's high. And half the time neither one of them have shit you really want. So, I mean, you're kind of forced to drive out of town, to make a 15, 20, 30-minute ride out of town to go get your groceries. Or either you just, you know, say the hell with it, and you go to one of the 2 places that we got, and you get whatever they got to offer.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's a lot of hard times. A lot of, but okay. How is there so many nice vehicles though? There's so many nice homes. There's so many nice vehicles. Even in those really small towns, you know, like even in those little podunk towns, there's nice houses and nice vehicles. How
Well,
are they?
There's, like I say, you got the old money families, you know, that naturally they gonna have stuff, and then you got a lot of people that's up to debt to their damn eyeballs. That's how they get nice stuff, and then there's some, you know, there's a lot of illegal stuff that goes on, you know, that people are privy to and part of. Because even though there ain't a whole lot out here, there's a lot of drugs out here, and there's you know, there's been some murders and shit out here, and oh yeah, trafficking. I mean, there's hot spots around here for all that. You know, there's a lot of colleges. There's some colleges around here. So I mean, there's, you know, people make their money, man. You know, and it's like not all of it's like that. I mean, some people just looked up and got some good paying damn jobs. You know, they were some of the lucky ones. They might have been working in some of these mills all their life. You know.
Like what kind of mills? Like what kind of mills are you talking about? Like,
yeah, we got a couple steel mills around here that make decent money. We've got a mill that makes like ball bearings and stuff that goes into motors and pistons, camshafts for different car companies. We got a couple of Pepsi manufacturing plants, Coca-Cola manufacturing plant. I think there's a couple breweries in Florence that does stuff. And then they got some little like just textile mills, yarn mills or whatever. You know, they make rugs and different fabrics and shit like that. Now they don't make as much as some of those other mills, but.
So if you can't get one of those jobs, what do they go for then? Because if there's not much in the area, like what are they going for then? Is there a lot of people that go? I mean, you know what I mean. Like where do these people work? If they're,
you know, you got you know, retail. A lot of people get into retail because they're, you know, different stores and stuff. And like I say, a lot of people's driving out of town to some of these bigger cities, you know, these bigger towns or whatever to work. So you do got opportunities in these other towns. But, you know, people get into retail and then, you know, nursing. A lot of people get into nursing. And, you know, like I got one of my nieces is a RN, and she drives. I think she drives a little over an hour to go to her job, but man, she makes damn good money. If people get into that, and then you got a lot of people that just don't do shit. They sit around and get every damn aid, financial aid, government aid, farm aid. I mean, just every aid they can get.
Is there a lot of farming out there? Is it a lot
yes,
of?
Sir.
So there's
Yes,
a lot
sir,
of agriculture.
And some of this agriculture, man, makes buku money. I mean, damn, bukus of money. I mean, it's a lot of work, but they can make some really good money.
So
doing farm work and stuff, and
I
a
could
lot of
see.
people get into truck driving. You know, a lot
Yeah.
of people get into truck driving, joining the military. A lot of people join the military, go into the service.
Just because there's not opportunity very much there, so
Yeah.
yeah,
They look at it as a way to get out. You know, they look at that as a way to get out.
have coal mines, power plants, plus a lot of them go trucking or construction out of town.
Yep.
So they're getting money from outside areas, and they're bringing in the money. So then how are those communities not thriving to where stuff is cheaper if people are going outside to make money and then bringing that money in? How does you would think that with the influx would keep prices cheaper, but instead it's almost like a gouge. And so
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you know, even
yeah.
like most people that is working out of town to make this money, they're spending that money out of town too. I mean, like I say, the town we live in, we got 2 grocery stores, you know, so a lot of people drive out of town just to go get their groceries. I know I do. So like, yeah, I mean, you bringing the money into the community, but at the same time, you're spending it outside of the community because the community just ain't got a lot to offer. And I'm not speaking on all of them. I mean, that's just like, that's how where we live is.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't have anywhere to spend it in town, so you're going to be spending it out of town. That makes sense.
And there's literally like some of these towns, there's nothing to do. I mean, you're either doing drugs, drinking, screwing, or you're at home. I mean,
Getting in
that's
trouble.
really, yeah, pretty much. I mean, because there's nothing to really do in some of these towns. And I remember coming up, different things tried to open up in our town, but hell, they didn't last long because, you know, some people just don't know how to act. They screw up good things. You know, like I remember coming up as a kid, you know, they tried to open up an arcade a couple of times, and you know, people go in there and try to steal the fucking money out of the machines or, you know, tear shit up in there, and the people wouldn't keep them open long, you know, because people just don't know how to act. But I guess, hell, if you ain't never had it, well, no, that ain't no damn excuse to act like a fool. I'm sorry. If you ain't got it, don't mean you go tear somebody else's shit up, but
Yeah.
people just don't know how to act, man. Some of these people don't know how to act around here.
Do the state parks and lakes bring in money? Like, because there's a lot of parks and stuff. Maybe that's just government funding, and when it comes to government funding, maybe that's where, you know, there's obviously a lot of corruption. So when there's corruption, there's people scraping the top off of a cup that overfloweth. You know, maybe it's, you know, one of those things. And that was a weird thing about the Princess Anne That Lumber River State Park used to be the town of Princess Anne. It was a town, and they turned it into a state park, and that was crazy. Um, it makes you wonder. You see like these different towns, like I said, that like ghost towns. It's like almost a town starts up, they try to succeed, it doesn't make it, and people just end up moving to other communities that are close by to where the town
Well, I mean,
don't even
like
exist.
our park, our state park. Back when I was a kid, they used to have a boat race there every year, and they brought in good money because people come from all over to watch it. It's like those speedboats and stuff, and the Jersey skiffs. They'd be out there racing on the lake. But then you had people, the boats is putting oil in the water and this and that and this and that, and they quit with it. And then they turned half the park into a damn golf course. And, I mean, not everybody in the world plays golf, I mean, I myself, I don't want to step on nobody's toes or offend nobody because you know how this country is now. But, I mean, I think golf is stupid. I mean, I know the dynamics of the game. I know how to play it. I've played it. To me, it just don't make no sense. I'm going to hit this little ball into a fucking hole. And I got so many tries to do it. I mean, come on. But they took half the damn park away. They took half the park away for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Just small town living, I guess. And like I said, it all depends on whose ass you kiss and what your last name is. In a lot of these towns. How much money you get.
You just have to play the role, I suppose, and is that what the family and it's just been home? Is that why people just stick around and don't try and venture out? I mean, I don't know, like I have one of those spirits where I'm just I don't know, man. I just need to explore, I can't just sit still. I have to see what the other side is like. I have to go experience it. It would be weird for me to like if I would have never ventured, It would just be totally weird to never have left an area.
I think some people just get complacent, or either like I say with their family. I can't speak for nobody else, but in my situation, I mean, it's my family. My family's here. My kids are here. And I make do.
Yeah,
I make do and get by, and what I mean. A lot of us around here, we started working at a very early age, and we work for what you want in life, and I bust my ass working to get what I got. I might not have much, but what I got it honest, and like I say, my people's here, and my kids are here, and
yeah, it's your home. It's not the best situation, but it's a better situation than what it could be if you weren't, around there.
And something you asked earlier, I wanted to go back to it while I had my mind on it. You were asking what we thought the first time we saw the area where Mica's memorial was at, and we thought about the bag and all that. You've seen that area, how growed up it is in spots, and how thick it is in spots. And I know the video that you done when you went out there. I don't know what way you come in. The way we come in, though, it was a very big, clear path, big enough for a vehicle to pull up in. And, they said she had cuts and bruises on her hands and stuff, but that come from briars or brush or whatever. Right there where her memorial was at, the way we come in, there wasn't any briars or brush. You had maybe 3 feet of trees you could walk around or walk past. And then you come to a good clear spot, kind of like those fishing bank spots that we walk past. And then there's a memorial right there. So, it would have been very easy for somebody to bring her in right there. And you wouldn't have to fight all that shit we fought through walking through the other day.
Yeah, right where her memorial is at, where she was found, it is pretty wide open, drivable path. There was just some paths where it looked like an ATV was kind of right by the cement bags. Is where it was like an ATV. A truck could have drove down there, but it would have been getting scratched up like crazy from the tree branches and stuff like that. But yeah, there's so many. That's the thing, and that's why I want to even explore some more, because there's so many different paths and different routes and different directions that you can go to. It's like a maze almost, with all the different areas that you can go back there. Oh, she's got my. There we go. Yeah, it's almost like a maze. Back there, it is kind of creepy back there. Hold on 1 second. She's attacking my. Come here, baby. Come here. Oh, attacking my headphones. It is crazy when you're back there though, because it's. I don't know how you can't hear a shot going off back there, because it's so quiet. It's so still and stagnant and quiet, and there's just nothing going on other than the bugs flying around your face. It's just so quiet and nothing.
It's crazy because it actually we felt like we were liars, because every time we went out there, they won't never know damn body there. And then we met up with you there twice, and every time there was, there was a fish fry and then fucking campers.
Yeah. Yeah, the weird stuff, especially the fish fry. Speaking of the fish fry, Matthew had a question, because like the Bethlehem thing was interesting. Is the Bear Bluff area near Bethlehem? No, it's not. Bear Bluff is more north of Myrtle Beach. It's a road that's basically in the suburbs of Myrtle Beach. Bethlehem AME Church is up there by the SC41 Grocery and Grill. So you're talking, I would think, from Bear Bluff Road or Drive to Bethlehem is probably going to be about 30 minutes, I'm thinking. About a 30-minute drive. But really, if you just Google Bear Bluff Road or Drive, or just Bear Bluff, South Carolina, it'll put you on Bear Bluff Road / Bear Bluff Drive, and then just type in Bethlehem AME Church. I'm thinking, I can't quote it. I'm thinking it's like 30 minutes or something like that. Not that far, but it's still, it's still a little bit of a distance. What do you think about the Bear Bluff? Is there like, this would be a perfect question to ask you, because you all are from here. What does Bear Bluff mean to you? Like, is there? I know it's a road and it's a couple roads that are basically dead end in North Myrtle Beach, Conway area. But is there something else up in that area that Bear Bluff means, or does Bear Bluff mean something in South Carolina? Is there like a Bear Bluff company? Is there, you know, what does Bear Bluff mean to you all? Or it's just a road?
Honestly, before this was brought out, I didn't even know anything about a Bear Bluff. This probably the second time we went to the Lumber River State Park, we were going through Fair Bluff, kind of the way you went,
Right.
and we turned, and I noticed the river walk, and that was actually after the tropical storm, so there was a lot of water, and I was like, oh, well, they could have probably got access here on this river walk, and then we turned down there and went over that little bridge to go to Lumber River, and on the left there's a road that says Bear Bluff Kitchen or some Bear Creek Kitchen, something like that, and I was like, oh wow, that's it was just the name of a road, but I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. But so I mean, maybe that was what was said in the call. I don't know, but to me, it meant to me, it really didn't mean anything. And I don't know of anything around South Carolina that's Bear Bluff or Bear Creek or anything like that.
Bear Kitchen. Yeah, I just I figured I'd ask you guys since you guys are from the area. I didn't know if maybe something in South Carolina. I know it's a road, but it's one of these roads that it's all private property. It's a newly developed area. You can see the construction that's going on. It's a newly developed area. And there's some dead ends that, really you're going by a little river, but it's all pretty much just private property. So it's not like you just kind of like that one boat ramp that we went to. It's not like some boat ramp where you just pull up and you can pull up and do whatever and bounce and nobody really notice or see anything. You would really have to have some kind of connection with that person to use any of that property. You can't just like roll up on it and jump in the river and kind of do your thing. Um, that boat ramp that we went to when we were going by JJ's house and one of the I think we went to McClellan's on that trip too. Um, that boat ramp right there, the Boardman boat ramp, was really just get that kind of feeling like it's just too perfect for somebody to hop in there and not be noticed and be able to get in and out with any kind of attention. That one was really suspicious when it comes to an area. But that was just a few minutes. That was north of Lumber River State Park. Plus, there's so many other entrances. The entrances you guys were showing me that we were driving around at one point, and all them different gates and stuff. You said that you were able to go through like 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5?
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Okay, I thought there was.
Yeah.
Because there's that one wooden one that which was weird. It was like logs laying over so you could walk into the direction. Is that all private property? Oh my gosh, she's tearing stuff up. Hold on. Is that all? Come here. Is that all private property? Where all those entrances are at?
I don't think so. though, because it doesn't. Nothing's posted that says private keep out. It's just one of them just said keep gate locked. We did go down one of them one night. We were there and we saw a shotgun shell in one of the trees. So we were like, yeah, let's get out of here, because it almost looked like it led down to a cabin or something. So I don't know if it was some hunting land or what back there. But we were like, it was getting dark, and that's not a place you'd be when it's dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael says Bear Bluff was the site of a Revolutionary War. It is spot on the river where there's a cliff which the natives named Bear Bluff. So is it like a tourist spot or something, or
It might be marked as a historical spot.
because when I typed in Bear Bluff the first time, I just typed in Bear Bluff, South Carolina, because I thought Bear Bluff was a city. And the only thing that it came up for me was Bear Bluff Road. It actually gave me Bear Bluff Road. It didn't give me any kind of... You would think if you looked up like Yellowstone, it's going to give you the tourist stuff along with the city or whatever. I'm surprised that it didn't come up as like a tourist spot, because when I was in Pennsylvania last year or the year before, I can't remember. No, maybe it was a year and a half. Oh my gosh, she's tearing stuff up. Maybe like a year and a half ago, there was tourist spots all over the place. For the wars from back then. So you don't think it's tourism? I'm not sure. Maybe it was just I just figured I'd ask them what Bear Bluff meant to them, and if it did mean anything to them. Just because, but who knows? Maybe. Now, when it comes to when it comes to the area, is it one of those spots where you just don't go out when it's dark because of all the crazy stuff that takes place, or is it you just, if you know the right people, then there's no issues, but if you don't, then there's going to be some problems ASAP? Is it one of those kind of...
Yeah, I kind of lean toward the second one. If you know the right people, you probably won't, get into nothing. But I wouldn't venture out on my own too much, especially not knowing too many people or something, because and you might get into some trouble. Well, there's a lot of places like that around these areas, though, too.
Just because of the small town.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not used to outsiders coming in. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just, you can definitely, when you're there, you can definitely feel it. There's a vibe. There's an energy. It's, they make you know that, they make you feel like they know you're not from there, and so it's, I don't know, it's just one of those. I don't even like driving there at night. Like, even when I was going out to Lumber River, a couple of the trips that I went out there, I was out there so long that I would be leaving when the sun was going down, and even the drive 15 minutes out when it was dark, it was just, that whole trip, it's just like, man, there's so many of these roads, nobody drives down them, 2-lane roads in the country, and you're literally miles from anything, and it's like, man, with how corrupt this stuff is, imagine if you got pulled over on one of those roads. in the middle of that area. Like that, there wouldn't be anybody to come by and even see what the hell was going on. You know, it would almost be like you. I can't remember the movie. It had like a the movie where the comedy where they got stranded in some little town and then they had to go to court and the judge was, you know, they basically just like the car broke down, they went to jail. It was all these crazy ass circumstances. It was just basically like, yeah, we're just gonna do whatever we want because we can, and there's nothing you can do about it. And good luck. I'm describing you, city. Sorry, she's going nuts here. She's going through all my wires and stuff. Um, but I want to say thank you. I want to continue this conversation. I'd like to do it in another show if you guys would like to in the future. I know it's getting pretty late now, uh, and she's also going nuts here. Um, but yeah, I would like to uh, to have you guys on another show. Anybody, if you guys are members, check out the part 1 through 5 just a little bit. Didn't upload everything that we did there, but I wanted to give you guys a little idea and show you guys us kind of going back there. We're gonna go do some more coming up here in the future as well. Going back there, so there will be more videos for you guys. But yeah, it was a great perspective. There's so many more things that I want to talk about, but I know it's getting late too, and I definitely don't want to have you guys, have to go that crazy late. And maybe in a couple days or something, if you guys are comfortable and would love to hop back on. But I got like so many questions. I really want to go into, and I know that we kind of were talking about it before the show, and have been for a week or two. I really wanted to go into like there's different players and different people that are surrounding the circumstances, interesting figures that are surrounding the circumstances, interesting theories and thoughts. And I would really like to go into those in the future, kind of get into the different players and stuff like that and see what you guys are thinking and where you're coming from. I know I kind of wanted to talk about the area and the geography and some of the history and things like that. But I really would like to dive into just a lot of the key individuals and the theories and what you guys are thinking, when it comes to all of this. Not, it's been 5 months, a little over 5 months, 5.5. It's been a long time. There's been a lot of interesting things that have happened over time, a lot of crazy things as well, and also a lot of things that are being uncovered too. When it comes to the different people that could be or are potentially involved or connected to these other weird stories. One of them, was this Johnny G. Randall. His second to last service uploaded was the weekend Mica passed, and then the weekend after he had his last service that he uploaded, and we haven't heard anything from him. And it is kind of interesting. It is in that area where if you were going to meet him or at that church, uh, you would be in the area of SC41. And if you put Lumber River State Park in your GPS from Bethlehem AME Church, it's going to take you by whether you turn left or right out of the church. Either way, it's going to take you by SC41 Grocery and Grill. So I want to get into a lot of these different theories and thoughts and things like that on the next show. But I want to say thank you guys so much for Oh my gosh. Come here, baby. I want to say thank you guys so much for your comfort and even just like the stuff in the background, meeting and talking and all that before we even had this show tonight. It means a lot to me um, because, when I'm coming here and I'm not from here and I'm coming out here to help, not only document, but investigate as well. Um, it's the support from the community that means everything to me because without the support from the community, I can't do what I do. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for your support in helping us bring this knowledge and awareness to these conversations and the stuff that we're talking about, and also for the justice for Micah because that's why we're doing it, and that's why we're having these conversations and meeting up and getting together and going and doing this and that. And so I just want to say an extra special thank you to you guys because without you, without you all, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be able to help bring the awareness to the community as well. So, you guys are special people, and you guys mean the world. Sorry, she's distracted me a little bit, but you guys mean the world, and it really without you guys' support, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. Very good insight. Very good insight. I can't wait to talk to you guys more about these theories and these players and stuff. So, whenever you guys are comfortable to do that, let me know. And again, thank you all so much. Please hashtag justice for Micah, mash it in chat, drop the purple hearts. Thanks, Stephen and Lori, for their time.
Thank you, brother.
No, thank you for real. Thank you both. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, even in chat. It's just a beautiful community, and I'm glad that we can all hang out and be able to discuss this stuff. Um, Also, if you guys would like to, I'm going to be having a panel with some guests tomorrow night. If you guys would like to, I would like to invite you to come hang out. If you guys aren't busy, you're more than welcome. Because we're going to be having some really interesting conversations, and with our conversations, a lot of the stuff that we had in the background when it comes to those topics. If you guys are available, I think you guys would be able to really be able to contribute to the conversation as well, with all of your knowledge and the information and stuff that you all have been gone through as well, just based on the conversation. So if you guys aren't busy, you're more than welcome. And if not, we'll figure out when we can get together again. And I can't wait. But again, thank you guys so much. It really means everything to me. And thank you for taking out time of your evening to hang out with us and talk about all this as well. It really does mean.
No problem, brother. No problem. Thank you for what you do, man.
Thank you all. Couldn't do it without you guys' help. I want to do a couple contributions here real quick, and then I'm going to end the show. I want to say thank you, Jennifer P, for being a member for 6 months. You got that 6+ on your the badge. And hi, CJ Baby Angel. Thank you so much. She's tearing stuff up right now. I think she must have just woke up a few ago. 'Cause she's on the prowl. I can see her right now, just prowling. Bo Rivers, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, CJ. The name of the movie was My Cousin Vinny. No, it was a movie with Dan Aykroyd in it. And I think Dan Aykroyd played the judge, like he was doing different characters. Is that what it is? Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, or something like that? Who's all in that? Dan Aykroyd. I know it was Dan Aykroyd.
It's nothing but trouble.
Is that what it is? Like the judge had like a weird nose and had warts
That's
all.
it.
Okay.
Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd.
There we go. Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. I was thinking Bill Murray. Okay, there we go. I got to watch that movie now. Nothing But Trouble. Kid Kitty, member for 16 months. Thank you for all you do and are doing, and thank you so much for your support as well. I want to say good night to everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stephen and Lori. Give Stephen and Lori some love as we end the show. I hope you all have a peaceful and positive evening. Again, anytime there's going to be more information, I'm going to be dropping videos. Check out the video section. There's a bunch of them that dropped today, even for members. I want to say thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow. Appreciate y'all, and have a good night.
For